Stop resisting or I'll have you arrested. That's what she screamed at me. HOA, Karen herself. Piton, while trying to steal my $3 million floating island at gunpoint. Not metaphorically either, actual gunpoint. Sheriff's deputy gunpoint. And yeah, the barrel was pointed right at my chest. 6 a.m., Lake Travis, Texas. I'm out on my own little patch of freedom, sipping my coffee, watching the fog roll across the water. Then suddenly the sound of twin diesels tears through the morning. Out of the mist there she is standing in a borrowed sheriff's patrol boat, blue lights flashing like we're in some low-budget action flick. Karen's at the helm, hair-bleached business suit, screaming, "I own the lake," clutching seizure papers faker than her Botox. Diesel and desperation. That's the scent cocktail as she slams her boat into my dock. This illegal structure is seized under emergency HOA authority. She screeches, voice cracking like dollar store crystal. I just set my mug down, looked her dead in the eye, and smiled for the GoPro. "Karen, that's armed robbery on federal waters. Say hi to the judge from your cell." Yeah, that happened. So quick poll, what would you do if some HOA tyrant tried to steal your life's work, armed to the teeth, screaming at you to surrender? Drop your location and your worst Karen story down below. My name is Marcus Tank Rodriguez, and I've been in the HOA psycho wars for 6 months now. Before this, 20 years in the Navy building stuff nobody else could. 4 tours as a CB combat engineer, bridges under mortar fire runways while dodging sniper rounds. Building a floating island on a peaceful Texas lake that was supposed to be my retirement. My grandpa, Sergeant Eduardo Rodriguez, Korean war vet, he bought this slice of Lake Travis, back when real folks could still afford it. Little 1970s cabin, weathered dock, 2 acres of peace. When he passed 3 years ago, he left me more than a deed, he left me a mission. Mijo, he used to say, calloused hand on my shoulder, always smelling like motor oil and Old Spice. Never let anybody push you around because they think they're better than you. I keep his challenge coin in my pocket to this day, warm from years of worry and habit. So I built my island. 4 years, $3 million in materials and sweat, every single federal permit signed, stamped, and framed in the workshop. Solar panels shining like mirrors, turbines spinning a little floating fortress, self-sustaining, storm-rated, legal in every way that matters. Which is, of course, where Karen crawled out of her little cave. Let me back up a sec. Karen Piton, 58, HOA president. Queen of the HOA Karens, married to Dale Piton, the county commissioner who signs off on sheriff budgets and construction contracts and pretty much runs the backroom deals in half the county. She lives in this $2.8 million lakefront palace that just oozes new money. Her dock sticks 15 feet into federal waters, no permit, but who's counting? She runs the HOA like Stalin ran the Soviet Union, forced out 12 families in 6 years. Always the folks who didn't fit her country club, fantasy, veterans, minorities, anyone too working class. The Johnsons' elderly black couple, $130K in fines until they had to sell for half value. The Martinez kids couldn't even play outside without a noise complaint. Dale's deputies showing up for code enforcement badges out, sidearms ready, like I was running a meth lab, not a legal island. 2 months after I finished construction, the first shot across the bow, certified letter demanding $50,000 in emergency fines for my unpermitted structure. Thick, expensive paper, but pure trailer park threats. Remove the island or face criminal charges. See, what Karen didn't know is I did my homework. Federal waters equals federal jurisdiction. Corps of Engineers had signed my permits. Coast Guard had checked my lights. Karen's HOA empire ended at the high water mark. My island floated in Uncle Sam's backyard. I sent her a polite legal response. 3 days later, another perfume-drenched letter, no more asking nicely. Some people need to learn their place, she wrote. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't about codes or landscaping. This was about power, about a woman who'd spent her whole life crushing anybody she couldn't control. My island proved something she couldn't stand. A brown-skinned Navy vet could build something money and connections couldn't buy or break. Her attack came like a hurricane of lawyers and intimidation. Blackstone and Associates, fancy law firm, thick demand letter about environmental damage, federal violations. $2 million in damages. Total fiction, but scary if you'd never done battle with bureaucracy. But the real power was the badges. Dale's deputies treating my island like a cartel hideout, showing up for inspections, always armed, always aggressive. We've had reports, Mr. Rodriguez. Mind if we take a look around? They filed complaints with every agency. Parks and Wildlife, EPA, Coast Guard, you name it. Every complaint meant more harassment. Here's where Karen screwed up. She got greedy. While digging through maritime law, I found her dock 23 feet into federal waters, 0 permits. According to her standards, she was the hazard. I filed a formal complaint. Guess whose dock topped the list? But that's not all. My security cameras caught Dale's deputies doing inspections at 2 a.m., searching with no warrant, just checking in ways that looked a lot like harassment. Elena Vasquez, a civil rights lawyer I met in Iraq, looked at the footage and said, "Marcus, this isn't HOA enforcement. This is textbook federal civil rights violation." So we documented every illegal search every time Karen's network weaponized law enforcement to push me out. Jake Morrison, the marina owner, pulled me aside one night, says Karen's pressuring him to revoke my slip lease or Dale will pull his license. Tank, they're coming after everyone who helps you. That was my cold water moment. This wasn't just about me. She was targeting anyone who wouldn't kneel. Time to turn the tables. My federal complaint got real traction. The sabotage began. Chains loosened solar panels accidentally damaged during inspections. But I'd built for war. Every act was caught on camera. Every incident documented. Anonymous reports of fire hazards, illegal construction noise complaints, just Karen's way of waging economic warfare. When Jake refused her bribes and threats, she sent the health department after his business. Elena's deep dive through county records revealed the pattern: 6 years, 12 families forced out properties sold to shell companies connected to Dale, then snapped up for development. My island was the last domino. Karen's abandoned vessel scam almost made me spit out my coffee. She tried to get it seized and scrapped by Piton Marine Recovery, owned by Dale's brother. One problem, they never filed proper licenses with the Coast Guard, filing those claims federal fraud. Then Karen played her last craziest card, filed a federal terrorism report. Swore I was stockpiling explosives, turning my solar batteries into potential bomb components. My tools, weapons manufacturing equipment, navigation lights, suspicious signaling devices. If it weren't so dangerous, it would have been hilarious. Thing is, I have actual security clearance and a spotless Navy record. The Coast Guard showed up not guns blazing, but with an inspection team led by Commander Tom Bradley, another Navy guy who recognized professionalism when he saw it. 3 hours, 0 violations, and a lot of respect. Commander Bradley pulled me aside. Someone just filed terrorism charges against a decorated veteran with a spotless record. That's not just false reporting, that's hate crime territory. Turns out they'd been tracking fake emergency reports from Karen's crew for months. Elena's call to the FBI Public Corruption Unit kicked off federal hate crime protocols. And suddenly Karen's entire network was in the spotlight: abuse of police power, targeting minority veterans, orchestrating economic theft. Elena Bradley and Agent Emerson from the FBI helped us assemble the case charts documents, witness statements from every family Karen had bullied. Turns out Dale's been keeping meticulous records of every dirty deal, every forced sale. He was so paranoid about being cheated by his own partners that he left a perfect trail for prosecutors. The big twist: every property taken by Karen's HOA over 6 years, 14 homes, everyone owned by veterans or working-class minority families, had gone to Dale's development company, paying down debts and funding his political ambitions. Karen wasn't protecting community standards. She was stealing land for cash to keep her and Dale out of bankruptcy. With indictments coming, Karen launched one final desperate assault. She convinced Dale to try an armed emergency seizure, rolling up with sheriff's deputies, construction workers in borrowed police gear, and fake engineering reports. Through my binoculars, I watched the clown parade approach: boats, bullhorns, Karen's SWAT team circling like pirates in Ray-Bans. But this time, the Coast Guard and FBI were ready, surveillance rolling. The second Karen stepped onto my dock, bullhorn in one hand, badge from a Halloween costume in the other, I hit the live stream. "Ma'am, you're impersonating a federal official and attempting armed robbery. Prosecutors are watching live." Half the deputies bailed, but Karen pushed her crew forward until Commander Bradley's cutter came roaring over the horizon, sirens wailing. This is the United States Coast Guard. All vessels maintain position for federal law enforcement. FBI helicopters, Texas Rangers, boats, the works. Karen's crime scene live on the internet. One deputy, tired of the circus, cuffed Karen on the spot for impersonation, conspiracy, and attempted armed robbery. Elena's voice came over the radio. Marcus prosecutors are filing charges as we speak. Karen just bought herself federal mandatory minimums. And just when you think it's over, Dale tries one last stunt a county meeting to legalize the whole thing retroactively. Problem was, 3 of 5 commissioners were wired for sound working with the feds. Commissioner Phillips, bless her, stood up and read a prepared statement. I move to table this illegal resolution and present evidence of racketeering requested by federal prosecutors. Dale's jaw hit the floor. He tried threats, intimidation, got it all on tape. Elena stood up and dropped the hammer. Mr. Chairman, you're under sealed federal indictment. The courthouse erupted as marshals moved in. Karen showed up in cuffs, Dale sweating through his suit, trying to claim federal loopholes were the real crime. The judge shut them down, denied the resolution, and ordered both into federal custody. The courthouse burst into applause, families who'd lost their homes, neighbors who'd lived under Karen's thumb. Everyone finally seeing justice served. 2 years later, Lake Travis looks like a different place. Not because the water changed, but because justice finally washed through. Karen's serving 8 years in federal prison, $3 million in restitution. Dale got 12 years, lost every asset and his old mansion. It's now a veterans community center. Every family forced out got restitution. The Rodriguez family bought a bigger place, set up scholarships for Hispanic veterans. Jake Morrison got elected president of the new HOA, one that actually stands for homeowners. My island became a symbol. State law now protects property rights for veterans, and federal investigations expanded across Texas, 40 more corrupt officials all getting their day in court. Commander Bradley retired and started teaching federal water rights. Elena, now a federal prosecutor leading corruption crackdowns. Every year, we host Constitution on the Water, veterans, families, and freedom lovers sharing barbecue and stories. Kids play without fear. The laughter, the flags, the taste of victory, it's real. And you know what? The lesson here is simple. Bullies only win if we let them. Stand your ground, document everything, don't give up. America still belongs to us, not to Karen and her cronies. So what about you? Got a HOA horror story? Drop a comment below. We're building a national database to help folks fight back. And hey, smash that subscribe button. We're just getting started exposing the next corrupt official who thinks they can steal your freedom and get away with it. Justice isn't a suggestion, it's a promise, one we keep together. You know what I mean?